Hello, welcome to the online tutorial of Toontastic 3D. With Toontastic 3D, students are able to create their own cartoons and perform their own science experiments. Teachers use this as a resource to engage students in summarizing the books they read instead of having them create book reports or other projects over the books that they read. Students love using Toontastic 3D because it gives them a chance to be creative, create their own cartoon, and become the director of their very own cartoon. How cool is that? I'm going to show you exactly how students will be able to use this app. This app can be downloaded to a phone or tablet, such as an iPad, in the classroom setting, and can be used for any content area. ELA teachers are able to use the story mode. Science teachers are able to use the science experiment mode, and math and history teachers are able to use this as a tool when discussing various topics. Students can use the preset settings or draw and create their own. Students can write math problems and then transfer them into 3D objects to make their answers fun and engaging. History teachers can use this app to have students create a cartoon about an event that happened, such as the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. The first thing you want to do when you open your Toontastic 3D app, you are going to click this plus sign right here in the middle. From there, we have our three different options. We have a short story mode, which contains 3 parts, the beginning, middle, and end. We have a classic story with 5 parts that has things like the climax and the problem of the story. And then we have our science report, which also contains 5 parts, and that's where students can perform their own science experiments. Let's get started in the short story part. As you can see, our short story contains a beginning, middle, and end. In order to get started, we're going to choose the beginning, and it's going to give us a brief description of what the beginning should contain.
The beginning, where you introduce the characters and the setting of your story.
So from here, I'm going to choose a setting. So I can choose any one of these settings that are predetermined, or if I don't like any of these settings or I'm looking for something specific, I am able to draw my own, in which I can create whatever setting I need for my cartoon. So for this video, I'm going to choose Dolores High School. And I'm going to introduce my characters. Down here at the bottom, I have a whole lot of options to introduce my characters. So I'm going to pick a few characters. If I change my mind and enter a character that I want to remove, all I have to do is click on the character and drag it to the bottom. So these different paintbrushes, if I want to change a character's shirt or add something to them, I can click on this little paintbrush underneath a character. And I'm able to change her shirt, her clothes, her hair to whatever color I choose. When we're finished, we're going to click on the check mark in the corner, and we can name this character. Okay, so I created a custom character named Sally, and she's going to be right here at the bottom. So when I've added my characters and I have my setting, I can click on this next arrow in the corner, and it's going to put all of my characters inside of my setting. I'm able to zoom out and look around. I can move the characters to wherever I want them to go. So if I want to have them start in the science lab, I can take my characters and put them where I want them to go. I can make my characters bigger or smaller. And I can make them turn around. If I tap on them, they do different things. Once I'm ready to get started, you do narrate your own cartoons. So I'm going to click on the start button right here in the middle, and it's going to allow me to start talking and move my characters around as I'm creating my scene. So it gives me a countdown to make sure I'm prepared. And from here I'm able to move the characters. I can move them around. I can make them interact with each other and talk to each other. I can make them go downstairs and do anything that I want them to do. When I'm ready to stop, I just hit the stop in the center and it takes me back. It's going to show me my cartoon so far, and I'm able to add music here at the bottom if I choose. I can leave it with no music. I can add music that is spooky or gloomy or tense, and I can increase the sound that I want. Next, we're in the middle. So we're going to click on the middle, and we're going to do the same thing.
The middle, where something happens, like a problem.
So I'm going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to choose a different setting. I can add my characters back. I can introduce new characters. And then I can click on this arrow in the corner to have my characters fall into place. So I'm going to move them where I want them to go. Can zoom out. I'm going to make them interact with each other. So when I'm ready to get started, I press start in the middle. It's going to count me down. And then I can move my characters. Let's see what all they do. I can make them walk and talk to each other. And then when I'm ready to stop, I'm going to hit this stop in the center. So it's going to show me my cartoon. I can add some music. And then I'm ready to move on to my final part. So the last part is the end, and it is going to give me what it should contain.
The end, where your story wraps up.
So again, I'm going to choose a setting. I'm going to choose my characters, place them where I want them, and then go ahead and start in the center to start the end of my cartoon. So I'm going to interact, move around, and then when I'm ready to stop, I can stop in the center, and then my movie is complete after I add music. So now my story is complete. I have my beginning, middle, and end. I am able to go back to the different parts, and I can change up the music or edit each scene. When I am finished and completely satisfied with my short story, I can hit finish right here in the corner, and it's going to prompt me to give it a title. And then you're going to add your name as the director, and then hit this check mark in the corner, and that's going to put your story all together. So this is where whatever you are telling the characters to say, wherever you're moving them, you're able to see that. And it's going to go through all of the different scenes, my beginning, middle, and end. So it does pause briefly in between each scene. If I'm ready to stop watching it, I can just simply tap it, I can pause it, or I can hit this X in the corner to exit out of my cartoon. So from here I can edit, export, I can send it to an email address or send it to a Google Classroom account if I want other students to be able to see that, or I can delete it. So going back, this is very easy to navigate. Students are easily able to figure out this app and how to use it. If we click on the plus sign again, we have the option. So I just showed you the short story. They have a classic story, in which you have the setup, the conflict, challenge, climax, and resolution. And as you're going through each of those stages, it does give you a little prompt on what each part should contain. So I'm going to hit this back arrow to go back. And our last part of this is our science report. And it has all of the different stages of the science experiment. We have question, hypothesis, experiment, results, and conclusion. So again, that tells you what each part should contain. Overall, I feel that students would really enjoy this app to create book reports and book trailers.